I always try to invest in relationships and make that network. And obviously it's a win-win sort of relationship that you're going to build. You're going to be there for someone, and at someday they will be there to help you. So I'm really grateful for those that I was working back in the days, and they helped me when things got really worse in Afghanistan, or when I need something. And of course, there's also a time that you should pay off, and I have done it.
November 11th, 2025, 4:30 to 6:30 at the Uptown Cafe Bar. We would like to say thank you with a no dishes happy hour. It's free to attend. We're going to have apps. We're going to give away gift cards. We're going to mingle and chit chat. It's going to be a great time. Get your tickets at Eventbrite. There's info on our Facebook, on our Patreon. It's free to attend, but grab your ticket and come on out. Let's have a good time, share some laughs, eat some good food. No Dishes Happy Hour, November 11th, 2025, 4:30 to 6:30. We'll see you there. Welcome to Season 9 of the No Dishes Podcast, presented by our friends at Game Day Men's Health. They have a wide variety of services. You can find out more at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. I've been seeing them for 5 months, have lost over 50 pounds, but they do so much more than just weight loss. We're so appreciative to them of showing their support for the local restaurant community and highlighting the people that make it go. DJ, spin that track.
Hey, say, honey, let's go out to eat. Relieve our culinary duties. With all these restaurants to sweep us off our feet, they're bound to turn us into foodies. No dishes, no dishes, no dishes. We'll have a bottle of wine, relax and have a good time. No dishes, no dishes.
All right, we're going to talk about a great place. For the longest time, I remember this place was ranked like number 1 on, it probably still is. I haven't checked in a while, but we're talking about the Gem at 3rd and Lincoln, Turkuaz Cafe. We're here with newish owner, Farid. Welcome.
Hey, thank you so much, Jordan, for inviting me to this podcast.
Yeah.
It's great to be here.
Yeah. No, I'm so grateful you're here. We were just talking, I know Hamid with Doner Kebab. We both know Hamid. Everyone loves Hamid.
Friend, yes.
I think he's actually our most watched episode ever.
Absolutely, yes. Hey, it was interesting. I watched it too. It was great.
Oh, nice. Cool, man. Yeah, he's great people and known him for a long time. But let's just start off with kind of how you became the owner of Turkuaz and how long have you been in this role?
Oh, yeah, so I'm not coming from background of more like a restaurant, although I do have bakery and cafe, but that's overseas in Afghanistan.
Okay.
And that one I started like around 2016 along with a friend of mine. Something similar to Starbucks, because in that context, Starbucks or such thing does not exist. So we started one and it got really popular. It still exists. We have 2 branches. It's called Slice Bakery and Cafe.
Slice?
Slice, yes.
Okay.
Just like slice. A slice of cheesecake, a slice of cake, or so. And it was easy to sort of remember as well as memorize and sort of bring that vibe of freshness in your mind when you pronounce it. But that was it. I also had more of like a professional background working with the international organization or government. But this is in Afghanistan. And then obviously 2021, everything changed. So we had to leave, and I and my wife, we ended up a year in Germany. And then after a year, so we were both able to secure youth visas for study. So as a student, I ended up at Wake Forest in North Carolina, studying at law school, and she ended up studying at IU O'Neill. So once I graduated, I did secure a job working for Duke School of Medicine at Duke University. And this was a remote job. But I sort of still didn't feel that much content with what I was doing, although it didn't require that much hard labor that we do in this business, right?
Yeah, it's a little different.
14 hours or so, like blue-collar labor that we are. But more or less, once I moved from Winston-Salem to Bloomington, I was often visiting Turkuaz as well. And the previous owner, as you know him, Shafiq, he was willing to sell the place. So I gave him an offer, and that was January 10, 2024.
Okay.
And then we took over, I along with my wife. She was a big help in the process of being support as well as equally contributing to the daily operation. And since then, we have taken the pace and tried to bring changes and make it more vibrant, and make it much more sort of based on the demand of customers, as well as changing the painting, making it the renovation, as well as the menu and everything, bringing more quality. So that's how I end up owning the Turkuaz. And now it's almost 2 years. We're running Turkuaz Cafe, and mostly I have taken the charge for Turkuaz Cafe.
That's fantastic. I didn't realize. I mean, time flies because I feel like Shafiq, as far as I knew, like owned it,
Absolutely.
earlier this year. But I was in the wrong. But that's awesome, man. Shafiq, another great person. Shafiq Hamid,
hardworking guy.
Oh yeah, and just so kind. Every
Yes.
time I would see Shafiq, like, Jordan, can I get you fries? Like anything. I'm like, no, man, I'm good. You're trying to make me fat.
Well, that was a good skill he had to just make sure the hospitality exists and everyone feels like a home or like feel welcome at Turkuaz Cafe.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what was it that appealed to you and made you want to purchase a restaurant? With obviously you have the bakery,
Sure.
But you knew, or I'd imagine with your background that you knew kind of how labor intensive it was versus your other options.
That's absolutely true, and also finding the right labor is always a challenge.
Oh yeah,
Probably not in big cities, but in such college town it is to find the right. What was appealing for me that there was a potential, and I like this sort of industry of like interacting with people and being in constant interaction with on daily basis with the people. That part, and I like this concept of have a small cafe and to provide fresh and quality food at reasonable price. So that was the major sort of point that attracted me or appealed to me to take over Turkuaz Cafe. I do know it's owning a restaurant or running a restaurant or cafe is one of the riskiest business among the other businesses.
Yeah. If not the,
Yes, but one of, and obviously within Bloomington, having all these restaurants and cafes, it's hard to compete. So you got to always keep the quality and service. But still, I like it. It's a great business. I like that the satisfaction also comes from a point that we serve. And once I see the people are happy, the customers are happy, and they provide us with great review. And even if we don't do good, and then they provide with comments that we can improve, that's also the amazing part that we want. I personally really like to hear from them. In person, great. If they provide a review or like a star, that's also fine. But I'm always open to hear from them if there's something wrong and how we can improve and fix it.
Yeah, that's, so often, we'll see it with Chocolate Moose, or I've seen it at other restaurants I've worked at, where you get this feedback in the form of a 1 or 2 star review.
Sure.
And you're grateful to hear where you messed up so you can improve and learn from it. But it's also like, it means a lot if you just go find a manager.
Absolutely.
Just say face to face.
Yeah.
Give them an opportunity to correct it.
Yes.
And then if you go back again, it's the same thing, then give the 1 or 2 star review. But I think it's great for people to make sure that, the management, the ownership knows about the issue.
Yes.
Give them an opportunity, because
I agree.
I've 90% are trying our hardest,
I know.
but it is good to have the mindset, like you just phrased it, of it is an opportunity to learn and grow and be better.
I believe that when it's not more of like a chain or more like small businesses, there's more chance that you can approach the owner or the management.
Of course.
And they would take immediate action. So, of course, the implication of writing a review is big, but if you just approach, they will take care of what has been wrong, or if you have not been treated well, or the food has been not good, they will take immediate action. Of course, you always, there are platforms, Yelp, Google, or even Reddit, that you can go and write.
Yes.
You have or you could just keep yourself anonymous, but also from my prospect as well as your prospect, our appeal and approach is that what if you come to us and talk with us? We will learn, and also we appreciate that you come to us and we just fixed it.
Yeah.
So that's what I always really want and wish from our customers.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And the big thing is like Google reviews.
Absolutely.
You can't have a back and forth dialogue.
Sure.
You can respond, but on all of mine, I'm just, hey, I'm so sorry we fell short here.
Sure.
Could you please email me so I can get more details? Because you'll get some of it, but you want to find out when the visit was, who was working, and try to figure out specifically where the issue was so you can fix it, address it. And that's difficult because then I'll reply, hey, please email me. I want to learn more. I want to make this right. I want to fix the issue. But then 90% of the time they don't email me. And then, so you can't address the issue as specifically. So I think it's very helpful where either reach out, or if you do feel the need to leave a Google review, if they respond with a way to contact them, please contact them because it really helps us learn and do better. I've been in restaurants for 20 years and there's still plenty to learn and I'm not perfect. There's always I want that feedback. Anytime I'm sure you have a friend come in, if you're not there, tell me. I don't want you to just be, oh, everything was great.
Yes.
I want to know. I want to know it wasn't perfect.
Yes. I am in a sort of the stage that I really don't like the sugar coating sort of sentences. So just be straight and tell me, especially from friends or those that really care about your business, so that you could fix it. And I'm really great for a good number of friends that they are regulars. And if they see something is wrong, I ask them and they tell me. And that's the good point. They're honest and they're not sort of being diplomatic to not tell me. So that part, yes, I get it. But sometimes I have seen reviews that the person has not been to our restaurant at all or to a cafe.
Right.
Even from somewhere else, I don't know what could have been the motivation, but they have just write something and it doesn't make sense, but still you have to reply and make sure, because everyone sees it's open for public.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, that's the only way to handle it. And it goes with the territory.
Yes.
You can't avoid it. But it sounds like you came in right away, saw areas of need potentially, and you've already done a lot of work in the almost 2 years.
Sure.
Tell us about some of the mini revamp you've done, and just you spoke about a remodel as well. What if someone hasn't been into Turkuaz in the last 2 years? What are they going to see different now?
Well, first thing first so if we go in details about our food, the appetizers drastically has changed and has become more in terms of quality, quantity, as well as plating has changed. So and that also spiked our sale. If you look more on hummus and baba ganoush that we are selling nowadays, because it is much more closer to a real hummus or baba ganoush, and the taste, and even that part has really changed. The plating, the quantity, as well as the quality of the product for such, because I do really like those those appetizers along with others. So I have changed it, and we have also heard from our customers, so we incorporated that part. Second is also about the soup, the lentil, or the popular.
I was gonna bring up the red lentil soup if you did it. Yeah.
So we have drastically changed that, and now it is much more to what it should be, more like a Turkish lentil soup. The process, the taste, as well as the blend. So that's the closest lentil soup that you could get to a Turkish lentil soup that we have in town. Now about the pitas, pitas remain as it is. The same thing, the same ingredient, because I'm grateful that I learned from Shafiq the recipes and everything, so it stays as it is. But about the more like about the pastry. So the baklava, we had back in the days only walnut baklava. Now we do always also have pistachio baklava.
Yeah,
and that the taste, the syrup has changed. We do have a lot of demands for the pistachio, and customer loves it. The tiramisu and coffee cake, the same recipe as it was for years. So we are carrying the same legacy as it has.
So are you making the tiramisu and the coffee cake in-house?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Yes. So everything is made in-house. And nothing we do buy from outside, except that recently we added original or genuine Dubai chocolate in our menu, so that we're selling different flavors, the kunafa, the dark chocolate, as well as the pistachio. That was trendy and popular, so we also thought to bring it, and we have it. So we sold actually a good amount of that. And Turkuaz Cafe along World Food Market are only 2 places that have that brand that we import from Dubai. So that's pretty much about changes within the menu. Now, of course, the interior has changed. We put a new nice chandelier. Probably there are some pictures of that. So that's the tiramisu that you see. That's the new plating for it.
Looks fantastic.
Yeah, it looks yummy and tasty.
And is that interior photo new?
Yes. Well, this has been for a while, but the floor seating has changed. I guess those pictures should be also available. So the carpet was really old.
Okay.
We removed all of that, and now we have put a nice 2 rugs that we brought it all the way from Afghanistan. So it's beautiful. Maybe no, this is way back.
Yeah.
Probably.
So we might not have the new stuff.
I think it's on the Yelp. If you go to Yelp, you would see that. Those. So the plating has changed.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah.
But imported carpet.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's typically encouraged.
So yeah, so you would see that's the beautiful new rug that we have put on the floor.
Are you wanting to move better, feel better, and live better? Look no further than Move Bloomington, where their small group personal training programs are designed to improve strength, balance, and flexibility. With a welcoming environment, their expertly guided workouts can help you feel supported in the life and activities you love in and out of the gym. Whether you're new to exercise, a lifelong athlete, or anywhere in between, their dedication to personalized programming will deliver sessions that meet you where you are. Visit movebloomington.com to learn more and get started today. Your family will have a blast at Constellation Stage and Screen's upcoming musical, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, on stage November 1st through the 16th at the Waldron Auditorium. Join Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and the whole Peanuts gang. This timeless classic brings the beloved comic strip to life with laugh-out-loud moments, memorable songs, and a big dose of charm. It's truly fun for all ages. See You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, on stage November 1st through the 16th in downtown Bloomington. Find tickets at cconstellation.org. I've been using WaterTech pools for all of my pool and hot tub needs for 2 seasons now, and cannot recommend them highly enough. Jason, Brian, and their entire team are incredibly knowledgeable and can help you with your next pool installation, closing or opening, or just helping you maintain your chemicals and cleanliness throughout the year. They even do custom stainless steel pools. Learn more at Jays, that's Jays, watertechpools.com. See, I've always wanted to sit in that area. I'm just not flexible very much. I feel like
you gotta try. And
I know. I need to try. I need a chair.
Yes, you see the chandelier. We have changed that. That's a beautiful chandelier that we purchased from Turkey during the night. It looks amazing and beautiful. And the rug, those 2 rugs are coming all the way hand woven from Afghanistan.
Wow.
So we changed that. Yes. The carpet was a bit old and dirty, and I was always having this cringy feeling that, yes, we do the vacuum, but is it still enough? So finally we made a decision, and we put some money and changed that. And yes, the same lightings was a bit dysfunctional before, because at the end of the cafe we didn't have any light. Now it's fully bright, lights are there. The ACs are working perfectly. Back in the days it wasn't working up there. So we had some issues but since then, yes, we put a bit of so you see you
can pull it out. Yeah, sorry.
So you see that light did not exist before. The paintings, the walls have been freshly painted and nice. So the amount of reinvestment is considerable, because I believe that we should give back to to Turkuaz and make it much more pleasant and vibrant for the customers.
Yeah, well, and it's awesome to see you come in with this vision, execute it, and not just be like, I'm going to buy this place, I'm going to try to make a quick buck. You're obviously, you want it to be a representation of your passion. And I feel like that comes through, which is great to see.
I guess that should be the, it cannot serve as a shortcut to just make money and just leave and compromise the quality or so. But I think if, from my experience, if we do reinvest on the place and make it more pleasant to the customers, then we do get a good amount of. Well, I have actually retained a new group of our regulars. So even if you see that outside the garden, the new tables, everything, we just put it nicely new, and now it's like that. So that's also our outside.
Yeah, I didn't even know you had the seating over there.
Yeah,
that's
so
great.
Yes, we are quite a budget for that. But yes, now that's pleasant. So nice table with the chairs, and whenever you want like a good day, you can sit outside. Yeah, so yes, it should be that way. And that the tray that you see, that's sometimes that if I get time, so that's also the pistachio baklava that we make on triangle. So yes, freshly made in the oven, and our customers loves it.
Man, you've got me so hungry right now. I'm like, dude, just like this whole. Well, we were talking before we started recording.
Sure.
I used to go to Turkuaz all the time.
Okay.
And I haven't been in a while, but for no particular reason.
Okay.
It just, we've talked about on this podcast where you have restaurants that are in your rotation.
Yes.
And then for no particular reason, you just kind of forget about one. So I'm so excited having this conversation with you, hearing about all these changes to come back in, especially because when you said you changed the red lentil soup, that scares me.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I love that soup. But I might even be thinking about how good it was even before Shafiq bought Turkuaz.
Correct.
And so, I'm very excited to get in there, try the red lentil soup. I've always said P-Day.
Yeah.
But
Is
that okay?
That's actually correct, because if you see in the Turkish language, I speak Turkish as well. So in Turkish, the I with the dot on the top is literally pronounced as double E or E.
Okay, yeah.
So, and then the E, which is at the end of the P, which is P-I-D-E, is sound more like an A or A. So that's why it's pita. So,
Pita. Okay,
yeah, so
nice. See, I've always just been like, I think this is it. I don't know.
Yeah, so that I had as some sort of confusion with our customers. Now, even that is the recent menu, but the newest menu that we just we made it, and we're going to print it and have it. So we have sort of put the pronunciation as well.
Oh, no,
so
yeah,
like
phonetically spell it out.
Like so pida, or like for sujuk, some customers had hard time to pronounce it. The similar to pepperoni pita that we have, or the dried beef sausage that you put on the pita. And then for some of the appetizers, because it's written in Turkish, which one of them is mucver, M-U-C-V-E-R, but that C in Turkish is like J. So most of the customers, or you can see just mucver at the end, right?
Yeah, on the menu right there.
But
yeah.
if I didn't know Turkish, so that would be like mukver or something.
Yeah, I would say, mukver.
Yeah.
How do you say it?
So it's because that sounds like a J that sees mucver.
Mujver.
Yeah,
Okay.
Here you go. So, or the yalama, there's like a sort of a typhoon on the top of G. So that G is like silent in Turkish. So it's like yalama rather than.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that one I might have been able to figure out. But yeah.
Yeah. So those sort of things, and also more description about the appetizers with the new menu has been incorporated, which will help and be like more of like interactive for the customers too.
That's great. I'm excited. In the next couple of weeks, probably have that rolled out.
Yeah, well, hopefully, yes. Maybe next week we're going to have it printed and have for the customers to have.
This will come out in 2 weeks. So by the time you're watching this, it's there. Go check it out.
Absolutely, yes. No, it will be there, yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking pitas, we're talking appetizers, but you guys do kebabs, gyros. Let's go through kind of some of your other offerings.
Sure. So, of course, because it's a mixture of Turkish as well as there's a cross, sort of a mixture of Turkish and I would say more like Central Asia or even close to Afghan cuisine, especially the rice. Well, the Turkish rice is a bit different because the Turkish rice, they're usually the Turkish cuisine, they are using the thick rice or even they're using bulgur. And they make it different, either cooking with butter or with the tomatoes or so. But the one that I have inherited is more like using the basmati long rice, which we still carry the legacy and have it in our menu. So we serve that with our kebabs, the lamb, chicken, as well as the rack of lamb and salmon. And now, well, I'm sort of more satisfied with what we do with the kebabs because we really use the grill, and the grill is giving it really nice and super juicy, and it's more delicious. Back in the days, because of some hood issues, the previous owners, they were not using the grill, but just like putting inside the oven. While the oven, what it was doing to the kebabs, it was just draining the more juice, and it was becoming more like dry. And that was the pity to the kebab needs to be juicy, and you should really have that part. So now we're grilling it, all the meats, and super tasty and delicious and juicy. So we have the chicken, we have the salmon, lamb shish, as well as those other dishes. There was in this menu that if you see, there's like turquoise. So back in the days, like turquoise lamb or chicken turquoise, all these, there was a complication with the kebab because kebab usually is something that needs to be grilled or should be in a skewer.
Right.
That's how the kebab is. Or anything something really close to barbecue, right? But then the turquoise dishes is always, even it's not with gravy, but with more like stew. But sometimes there was this complication with the customers that customers were thinking that when they're ordering a turquoise kebab, but actually they meant the turquoise dish of lamb, for example. So we had made the turquoise kebab in skewer, but the customer later called and said, well, I didn't order this. I ordered the one that has veggies cooked with it and has the stew. And then I had to say sorry, but the complication was from previous menus because it was not clear enough for the customers to have the distinction.
Right.
Whether kebab is coming in a skewer or kebab is also the one that comes in a stew, which does not. So the turquoise dish is more like the clay pots. Okay. And kebabs are more in the skewers. So.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah, and anytime you can clearly communicate expectations, it helps.
Sure.
On the back end.
It does, and especially about the ingredients. Some does also have allergies, so it's got to be clear enough on what type of products, oiled or anything as a base you're using. Mentioning cooked in gravy sauce. Sometimes it gives like more American gravy and most, but that's not true. It's more like a stew as a base of tomato, garlic, and onion.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever tried. I've always just done the pitas and the red lentil soup and stuck with what I know. And so you mentioned the rack of lamb.
Sure.
Are you using that to also make the lamb skewers? Because I'm always curious when I see something like that on a menu. I was like, are they selling enough of these racks of lamb? You know what I mean? To go through it, you know. But if there's multi-purpose, I get it.
So I would say there was a redundancy with the previously, and what in the newest menu that is going to be presented to the customers, we're not going to have a rack of lamb. Why? Because within that menu there was lamb chops and rack of lamb, and then when the server was taking, and sometimes it was funny but also like weird, because there were like a table of 4. One was ordering a rack of lamb and the other one was ordering lamb chops. And then we were serving the same 3-piece cut of the same meat. Oh. And then, so it was just, rack of lamb, yes, it would have made sense that if you just gave them like uncut and that has been like properly grilled or cooked in the oven, that would be the rack of lamb. But we are using the rack of lamb and then we cutting it, marinating, and that we are using for the lamb chops.
Okay. So no more rack of lamb, but lamb chops and lamb kebabs.
Yes. And yes, there's, although the rates have been really spiked in terms of price for the rack of lamb, but still we have it. And there's a good amount of demand for lamb chops. It's super tasty, and it's one of the finest meat that you get available that's coming to US. So there's a good it's popular, I would say.
I love that. Is the best lamb, is it typically like New Zealand? Is that it? Or
so it's coming from New Zealand, or either New Zealand or Australia. The one that we're using is a grass-fed Australian non-GMO, and used to be like $12 per pound. Now it's like $16 per pound.
Jeez, man. You should put that on the menu. You should put, grass-fed Australian, like, I'm going to see it like, oh shit, and I might pay a little bit more knowing, like, oh, I'm getting this high quality protein.
Yeah. The other day I was telling to a customer that this is a grass fed, and she was jokingly telling me that. So what the other animals are eating, or aren't they eating like grass?
Grain fed. Yeah, I guess that's a good call.
And I said, no, they're eating cakes, but obviously they're eating grass
no, that's
too.
me. I'm always eating cake. Well, dude, I really can't tell you how excited I am to get back in there, try some of this out. It's such a staple. I mean, do you recall, or have you been told how long Turkuaz has been in operation?
I believe around 20 years or so.
Wow.
Yeah. So I can tell from, obviously knowing from the close friends, but also I can tell you that we do have like one of our oldest customers, 103 years old.
Oh,
and
wow.
He's coming at least over 15 years as a regular customer with his daughter and son. And so 2002.
Yeah, there we go.
I was right. So it's over 20 years old. And there are like, I've seen customers that they're bringing their son or daughter, that they were kid or baby.
Oh, it's the best. Yeah. Yes, the generational following.
And one of them was telling me that she was a baby, or the other customer were telling, or like a couple were telling me that they started dating and they like sort of met each other, and then so even the exact corner in the floor, and that's what they want to set and just like sort of bring back those memories.
Yeah. Oh man, it makes it all worth it when you have stories like that, and you get to know how much your restaurant means to people in their personal lives.
Yes.
Just to be a part of their story is such a cool opportunity.
Yes. Yeah.
Season 9 of the No Dishes podcast is presented by our friends at Game Day Men's Health. I've been seeing them for the past 5 months and have lost over 50 pounds using tirzepatide. But they do so much more than just weight loss. Whether you're suffering from fatigue, loss of motivation, poor sleep, or other wellness concerns, Game Day Men's Health can help. Check out GameDayMen'sHealth.com today to schedule your free testosterone test and consultation to get yourself back in the game. Better business, better community. For over a century, the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce has been a cornerstone of business growth and community development. They are dedicated to helping local businesses thrive. Their business is all about your business. Join the Chamber today. Call 812-336-6381 or visit chamberbloomington.org to learn more. So I was already kind of thinking this, and then it reminded me. So with Anatolia no longer being around, it's now Bloomington, and they did a whole big remodel. And then Turkuaz Cafe closing, you're the only Turkish restaurant in town, right?
Well, yeah. So the Turkuaz Cafe is the only in town. Absolutely, yes. And that's the only place that you could find something really close to Turkish cuisine, really close, or like the pizzas are absolutely Turkish, as well as the appetizers that we have, and the baklava. Baklavas are I mean, of course there's a lot of disagreement and argument from all the way from Israel to Greece to Turkey, that where was the first place that baklava started, but more or less Turkish people are also making one of the best baklavas in the world, and the Turkish cuisine is great. So yes, Turkuaz still has kept the name, as well as the sort of cuisine that's supposed to be provided by.
Yeah. No. So what is the meaning of Turkuaz? Is it just Turkey?
I I believe or probably I'm not right, but it could be something related to Turkey or turquoise, but also it could be the stone. So Turkish, the blue, yeah. So the turquoise it's called. So it's also one of good stones that some people are wearing it as a ring. And it's one of the good stones that bring like sort of comfort, stability to some people. So some people has that stone as their star. So in some religions even, or like sect, that stone is like a holy or has a sort of holy spirit. So they're like, usually you would see that they will have a silver ring, but would have the stone will be a turquoise stone. And it comes from that region. So that is the stone that you see. And in Persian, it's called firoza, which is literally the color, because it's something bluish, but it's not. Something like the color of sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I know you mentioned you speak Turkish.
I do, yes.
How many languages do you speak?
So I speak English.
Yeah.
I speak Turkish, Persian, or we call it Farsi.
Farsi, yeah.
Yeah, which is the native language of one of the native language of Afghanistan. So I speak that, as well as there's another. So Afghanistan does have two official languages, or there are more, but these two are like quite dominant. Dari and Pashto. I speak those two, and basic German as well.
Man, dude, that's so incredible. I've got one of my best friends from high school. She lives in Chicago. We still keep in touch, but she's Iranian.
Okay.
And so she taught me just the tiniest bit of Farsi.
Okay,
so
great.
I would just be like, salam koshkel, and then just like chetari, and that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah. That's more than enough.
yeah. I got hello, beautiful, how are you?
Yes,
You know?
exactly. Yes. Yeah, you're very right. Yes.
Well, so you're obviously just an incredibly sharp guy, you know, working with Duke Medicine. You used to work in the Afghan government. Is that
I used to work, yes. So, yeah, so obviously the collapse that happened back in until August 2021, I was working advisor for let's call it the Secretary of Treasury or the Minister of Finance, as well as working closely with the World Bank and Asian Development Bank. And I had this side sort of business, the Slice Bakery and Cafe. So that was, and professionally, that's what I was doing, and mostly in the financial policy and more trade-related or budgetary sort of things, working closely with the multilateral entities that was helping Afghanistan's reconstruction and financing in terms of reform. So that was a mixture of coordination, being part of the process, the financial policy, as well as also representing Afghanistan in some of the platforms that was happening throughout the Central Asia Economic Regional Cooperation sort of entity. So that was what I was doing back. But of course, once the withdrawal happened and the peace deal that the previous U.S. administration did with the Taliban regime, so everything sort of collapsed, as well as the chaos happened, and that was the end of our professional career, as well as the dark era for the mostly for the women, as well as for those that were educated, open mind and liberal, moderate force, because there's the Taliban regime does not speak but the terror. So that left most of us, as well as most of my friend and family, or those that they were educated, no option but to just leave the country in any possible way. So yes, but I did my undergrad at American University, which was the same liberal art system. In 2006, during the second Bush administration, they were really interested to build infrastructure for the education. So they started this chain of what is called American universities. The first one was built and established in Beirut in Lebanon, the American University of Beirut, one of the oldest one in the region. Later, they also established the other one in Egypt, in Cairo. And in 2006, the board of trustee and also those Afghan diaspora that they were educated, they had their PhD as professors or president of universities here, they came with the same plan and they established American University. And later on, I was also one of those that went to the American University in late 2010 and started my undergrad, studying there evening
And
classes.
where was that located?
It was in Kabul, Afghanistan.
Okay, yeah.
So in Kabul, Afghanistan, and it was obviously expensive, but you had to pay. Or some had the scholarship, but I had to just work. I had a normal job, so like from 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, and then that salary was more than enough, or somehow, to just pay for the expensive American University. And that same time working and studying until I graduated 2015.
So you worked your ass off there for a while.
Well,
Work and then right to school and then
so consider this, that the GDP of Afghanistan is like, so the Indiana GDP is almost like $500 billion. It's like $450 billion. The Indiana state, only that. And it's almost like 9 million of population or so.
Yeah.
So the Afghanistan's population is like 36 million. And the GDP or gross domestic product that is around $21 billion.
Wow.
So it's really in the poverty line, right? It's really like 75% of the people of the entire nation are under poverty line, and most of them are only winning or earning $1 per day. So that's how it is, right? Now, in such context, studying at American University would be so expensive because that 4 or 5 years that I studied cost me like $40,000. But considering all those factors, it should be like really expensive because of the salaries, because of the employability and everything. So that's why it was, really working hard to make sure to pay. And sometimes, it has happened for me that where I was working, the project got closed and I was unemployed for 8 months, and I owed like a good amount of money to university, and the university was telling me that because it was outstanding. So I couldn't check the grades from the previous semesters, and the university was telling me if you cannot pay until like fall semester, then you're not able to get or register for the new classes. But ultimately, friends or the network that I had, they helped that I got a new job, and then I had to pay the outstanding due and register for the new classes. So yes, it was a struggle, but of course it's a struggle that also builds you and makes you resilient to some of things that is maybe really unique or rare that's happening in this country.
Yeah. Well, and I think just like having those to help you is so important. You know,
it is, yeah.
Someone as sharp and intelligent as yourself, anyone can find themselves in that position where they need help to get through.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's, I don't know. I know so many people that have trouble asking for help, and no one likes to do that. It's hard to put your pride aside.
Yes, absolutely.
But very few people, if any, have gotten to where they are without help from someone along the way.
I believe that most of the time, like friends or like someone asks, what's your asset? But I always try to invest in relationships and make that network. And obviously it's a win-win sort of relationship that you're going to build. You're going to be there for someone, and at someday they will be there to help you. Yeah. So I'm really grateful for those that I was working back in the days, and they helped me when things got really worse in Afghanistan or when I need something. And of course, there's also a time that you should pay off, and I have done it. Even within the local context with recent, having that good relationship with Hamid that I have for the business, it helps me and also helps him if he needs anything. in terms of supply, or if I need anything, or even like sharing the experience. So, or knowing Wali, the Inkwell, right? The owner of Inkwell.
Yeah.
So like building that network relationship is always something that would pay off when it's needed. But of course, it shouldn't be taken for granted that you should always be the one to misusing and just taking for granted. But later, if they need you, you will not be available for them.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah,
Yes.
the amount of times, you see people just take it for granted, and it's a two-way street. Be grateful, try to pay back as quick as you can,
Yes.
and then be willing to help when.
Yes, and
when
also
help's
acknowledge that the
Yes.
presence really have a value in your life, in your business, and that is what it matters. So sometimes maybe financially no one would need your support, but being grateful and sort of acknowledging their presence is really meaningful for them, and that really warms their heart. So sometimes they would not need you for finance, but they would just need you to be really grateful for what they have done to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How did you meet Hamid?
Well, so as I told you that my wife was studying at IU, and Hamid is really good in terms of helping others. So sometimes when she was just walking outside the campus, so someday apparently she met. Of course, his track is always at Kirkwood, just close to library, and she was the one who first started talking and knowing Hamid. Of course, the extended family as well. And when I was in town visiting my wife, I also got to know him and got introduced to him. And since then, we just became a friend and also somehow in the same industry.
I love that.
He just put me in the trap as well.
It just put you in the what?
I mean...
in the trap. Yeah. You're like, I thought he was a good guy, but apparently he wants me to suffer with him.
Absolutely.
No.
Yes, that's what I say.
Oh, man. No, I'm so happy that you guys connected, because I think the world of Hamid, and so many others do as well. The No Dishes podcast is brought to you by VisitBloomington.com. VisitBloomington.com is the best resource for restaurant and culinary information, special events, fun activities, places to stay, and more in our area. We share a similar mission here on the No Dishes podcast of highlighting local businesses and the people who make our community unique. We can't thank them enough for hopping on board. Check them out at VisitBloomington.com to easily plan your next meal, visit, or night out on the town. The Bloomington Town Planner is a community calendar owned and published by local residents John and Sharon Martin. Mailed out to Bloomington homes in December of each year, it features school schedules and community events. And don't forget the coupons at the bottom of the calendar. They'll save you money and help you decide on the next restaurant or retailer to check out here in the Bloomington area. Town Planner also has an online calendar which will be found at townplanner.com. Make sure to sign up for their weekly e-newsletter so you can stay on top of all the fun events going on around town. If you don't mind me asking, I'm curious about, when things kind of fell apart in Afghanistan, how quickly did you see the writing on the wall, or was it something where it was, oh no, this has happened, I have to move fast? What was that timeline like for you to kind of make sure that you were safe and to get out of that situation?
So, of course, the collapse happened and started from the provinces. In north, south, the provinces one by one slowly started collapse, and that was because that sort of commitment that was there from the international forces, led by the U.S. and NATO, somehow got like mute and silent, especially with the air support, and enough supply was not sort of reaching to the fighters, to the Afghan army, which was trained, supported by the international forces, as well as so literally the same model of the U.S. government, as part of the army, special force, and so. And it was so fast that it was reaching close, so fast to the Kabul or the capital borders. And then on either it was a Saturday or Sunday. This is 14th of August, 2021. Around 3 o'clock, so of course, in such sort, if I draw the picture, even the city itself was becoming so like like a city of horror because it was vacant. People were not coming out, and everyone. Well, even like maybe a couple days ago, the people started to take out all their savings from the bank. There were like huge lines in front of the banks, private banks or the public banks, and most of them they start like they run out of the cash. So they said, "Well, this is the limit that we can give you." The guy had like let's say 100,000 of money saved in the bank, but the bank was only giving him 5,000 because they didn't have it, and central bank was also not providing them or injecting enough cash. So that also creates a lot of chaos and fear among the public, because the moment that you see that the people withdrawing the money from the banks, it means the trust has gone. The people has started like fearing that there's something bad happening within the society, and they gotta have the money at least if they need something, so the cash sort of help them. That was one of the sign, and of course the collapse of every provinces. And then that Saturday or Sunday, then around 3 o'clock, the previous president of Afghanistan, as well as one of the politicians, they came live and they said that sadly the sitting president has fled the country. So that was the last moment. Even those standing forces that they were willing to protect Kabul or the capital and fight, they said that, well, what are we going to fight for? There's no means of, because the purpose has been gone. The president has acted cowardly, has fled with helicopters, and his team and national security advisor and a group of others. And then at the end of the day, now some of the politicians, as well as maybe intermediary countries, they had to ask the Taliban to come and protect the capital, because there was no force to protect the capital, at least in terms of asset or the life of people, to that level. So you're going to ask the enemy, the terror or the terrorists, to come and sort of take the responsibility, because the president has already fled from the palace. There was a chance that this could have not happened if the president would have stayed, and then maybe a smooth transition should have happened, and then the government should have not collapsed. So that was it, and then of course you may have seen the pictures that the people were rushing to the airport.
Oh yeah,
and see all these military airplanes were like taking off and taking people. So it was such a bad time in terms of, because one thing that was happening, everyone had lost their hope as well, and no one knew what the Taliban would do with him. Of course, there was some sort of arrangement until end of August between the Taliban and the U.S. government that they would still keep the Kabul airport as their base, and they would do the evacuation, and then the Taliban would take the entire country as well as Kabul. So we had constant support as well as help from our friends here in the U.S. They were trying to get us to the airport, but 5,000 people were waiting on each gate of the airport.
Those videos were...
Yes, so it was merely impossible to get in, although you had the paper, the access, but no one would allow you, because I'm the one that I should get. Why you don't deserve it? So, but we had to go like sometimes overnight. We couldn't get inside, and we just had to return back to our place. So this happened like at least 5 times. On the 5th attempt, then we had to take a different route, and finally we were able to get inside the Kabul airport. And this is exactly the same day, the 26th of August, that explosion happened in one of the gates. It's called Abbey Gates, and 13 U.S. soldiers were killed with a huge number of Afghans, innocent Afghans, by a ICE or Daesh suicide bomber. And it was so hard for those forces to keep track and also make sure that there's no one among them like sort of a suicide bomber, because like thousands of people were there, and it was hard to put like sort of a searching body or anything as such. And we were just that day inside the Kabul military airport to be evacuated. So the U.S. biometric system is stopped, and then eventually I and my wife, we had to make a decision, and had a friend who was working for the French embassy, a charge d'affaires, and we just texted him, and he said, well, we're close by. We have we're in the second base, and we are leaving tonight to Paris as well. So if you guys want to join us, and we had no choice. But until this part, because it was not certain, I haven't said to my mom and dad and my family where we are, because I'm in a sort of belief that until something is not really happened, I wouldn't sort of not brag, but just because still things can change. Then I called my mom and of course my sister overseas. They were also concerned about us, that we're going to France. And I think it was around 8 o'clock or so that we flew in a military airplane, which literally has those hard seats, but even there was no place on the seats. So we had, because at that part you wouldn't really care about how comfortable it is, though, because you would just care about So we end up in Abu Dhabi on 27th of August, and eventually from there it was a bit comfortable because Air Force plane, more like an Airbus, took us from there to Paris. And 28th of August we were there. And eventually, yes, it took a year to get to US study, and then here we are.
Wow. What what an incredible story. And just a testament. I mean, just for you being able to sit here and verbalize it and walk us through it, and just having to have lived that is incredible. Because again, we see these things on the news.
Yes.
And it's very easy to not think about the individual human impact that they have.
Of course.
But just to have someone that's been like, oh, no, I lived through this, and to tell your story is very powerful, and I really appreciate that.
Well, of course. But I guess, yes, because once these sort of things happen for a country, the entire fabric and the society also sort of breaks down. And that's when the brain drain happens. So the entire country is losing all those that they have been educated, and they could have been a cadre that could contribute to the nation building or the state building or so. But sadly, that has happened not once, like many times. To Afghanistan, it happened. So with the Soviet invasion, that happened when they left.
Have you met Anwar yet? You know Samira?
Yes, I know him.
Okay. Yeah, he was just on a few weeks ago telling us about how he fled during the Russian invasion in 79.
So that the Soviet invasion, and of course, once even that installed government by the Soviet or USSR collapsed, then the Mujahideen took the entire country, but there was a civil war among various factions of the Mujahideen. And then the Taliban came. Taliban had it totally until like 2001, and 9/11 happened. It was a great and golden opportunity for Afghanistan that international community again had a focus, and also brought a lot of investment as well as for reconstruction of the country. And then, of course, at one point, there was no more interest, or Afghanistan wasn't more attractive for the international community. So they had to leave, and that's what we are back to same square.
Man, it's crazy to think about just even growing up and living in Afghanistan, even leading up to 9/11 and then post 9/11.
Yep.
And I don't want to take too, but I have so many other questions for you. So I'm going to come and grab lunch with you sometime.
Anytime. You're most welcome.
I'll bring ice cream.
That would be great. I love ice cream. Yes. I love ice cream.
In your time in town, have you and your wife got to eat out? Obviously, your wife has been at O'Neill for a while. Or,
yes.
Do you have any other favorite spots? This is what we always end on.
Yes. In terms of, so let me tell you, like, where we both love coffee.
Okay.
And then we do have like 2 places that's our frequent places that we take coffee. So of course, Inkwell is one of the best places that we have coffee and we love it. And then Needmore is the coffee of Needmore is amazing. And the blend and also the beans that they used, it's great. So the coffees from Wally or Inkwell Place, along with their pastry, the blueberry scone is our favorite. We love it.
I love their scones. I've talked about it because Wally's been on the podcast twice.
Oh, great.
Love Wally. Tracy came on the last time, his business partner.
Yeah. Exactly.
So Wally came on way back in the day when we just did audio, no cameras.
Great.
And then we just had them on. And I probably spent 15 minutes of the podcast just being like, can we talk about your scones? Because I love them so much. The blueberry, the chocolate chip.
Sure,
they're the perfect amount of sweet.
Yes.
They have the hard outside, the moist, soft, and
crunchy.
It's
so need more. Their coffee is amazing.
Katie, have you met Katie?
I have, but we haven't like personally got introduced to each other. But I love their coffee and it's so good. The same. So those are 2 places, and also some of days that. Oh, of course, it's a different sort of operating hours if we get time. So Elm. Morning, some of their, because they make different fresh pastry along with their coffee, amazing.
Yeah, they do. People don't understand at the Elm Coffee House, like just at the window. Because I'll go, I did this like $8 flatbread.
Yeah,
and like they're expanding their food offerings in the morning.
Exactly.
Where like, because it used to just be like sorghum cookie, which I love the sorghum cookie. And some other things, but now it's like we've got a quiche, we've got a flatbread, we've got this.
Absolutely.
There's like 6 different things.
Yes. So that's another favorite spot. In terms of food, so because owning a cafe, most of the time we make our own food.
Of course, I know that's always the tough part on this podcast. Like, why just eat it where I work?
But Sakura is one of the places that we order sometimes. Taste of India, sometimes we order. Feast, we love it too. Sometimes we go there too. Little Tibet, I love it. It's a good place, a good spot.
Have you got to meet Pema, the owner there?
The Little Tibet. So it's a funny story that we have a Tesla, and then one day we do have an appointment early morning. Then we have to be in Indy. But back in it, like a month or 3 months ago, or like maybe 4 months ago, there was only one charging station on the next to the other Fresh Time.
Oh yeah.
So this is right at the hype of the sort of the vandalism that's happening to the Tesla centers, and because the Elon is getting more like politically like to one vocal.
Right. Yeah.
So we just have the car. There's nothing more.
Yeah.
But funny thing that we go to the charging center and most of the charging stations have been glued and there's only one left. And then the owner of Little Tibet is charging his car there.
Oh no! Nice.
And we had to hurry. So I didn't know him that he's the owner and he has a Model Y Tesla. So I knocked his door and said, "Excuse me, we really we have to rush and we just need to charge our car. Is that possible?" So from that point, I got to know him that he's the owner of Little Tibet, and he was so nice. He gave me his, because that was the only charging station that was not glued. Yeah, so I know him from that.
Oh wow, what a cool story.
Yeah.
No, he has an incredible story himself of fleeing when he was 13, getting arrested, sent to India, and when we did the podcast with him, it was just audio. And so I need to have him back on because it's been years.
That should be great.
But as soon as we started the podcast, he just dove right into his story. And the whole time, my jaw was just on the floor about what he had endured, what he went through. And what we've always talked about on this podcast is when you get to know the people and their stories, when you go and have food from them, you have this whole newfound appreciation for what has led to that food being in front of you right at that moment in time.
Yes. I agree. Yes, yeah. Well, he's a great guy, and I like his food too. So like, it's a cool spot. Yes.
It's the only Tibetan restaurant in Indiana.
It is. Yes. Yes. Yeah. I mean, what else? So Well, in terms of like chocolate, or obviously chocolate mousse is another spot that sometimes we hit, or at Brewster.
Yeah. No, Bruce is great too.
And a bakery. So there's I think you should know. I'm sure you do know. So Piccolo Dolce.
Oh yeah, Maria's.
Yeah, Maria's. So yes, her cornitos and pastries is
So you
amazing.
get a little Needmore, a little Piccolo there, right there, little neighbors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know Maria's a great person. So.
Well, you're very well versed in the local food scene.
Well, I don't support the chain, so I never go to any of those places that are a chain.
My man.
Yeah, I don't do it, and that's my motto, and it should be. So the locals. Well, I love Two Sticks Bakery too. Sometimes, but of course, the convenience of the timing and location, sometimes it's conflicting. But yes, I wouldn't. Maybe in the harshest situation, sure. But apart from that, I wouldn't go to a chain, because first I know that they will sustain any sort of loss because it's a huge corporation,
Right.
And second, I really care about more fresh things compared to something more processed. So that's why I really prefer always the local, even if it's bad, even it's like sometimes couldn't be consistent with what it should be. But I that's why we love the farmers market and everything there compared to anything else.
That's the best ad for local restaurants I've ever heard. That was so
Yeah.
good. Garrett, that needs to be the teaser at the front. No, that's awesome. What we love to do here is highlight the local restaurants.
Yeah.
I worked at a chain restaurant. That's where I worked myself up, was O'Charlie's.
Oh, great.
Starting as a host and a busboy, and
Okay.
just kind of, and so there's things that chains do well because they
Yes.
spent so much money to research.
Absolutely.
But you're a cog in the machine.
Yes.
You can't have an idea and then have it implemented, and it's tough. It's not the same.
That's one thing, and the other thing is that, I mean, you just mentioned the name of all the owner of these restaurants, right? But you wouldn't know the name of those that they are managing all the chain, because that human interaction has been sort of cut for these chain. And it's just like a person, of course, even if I'm working there, my only responsibility is to just give you the food, and there's no more talk, there's no more interaction. And I think it's not going to be wrong if I say no one in a chain restaurant would know even their regular customer's name. But in Chocolate Mousse, in Turkuaz Cafe, everywhere, they know their regulars. They know them. They know who's who and who has been there like many times. So even you would know some of the regulars that we have. The moment that they walks in, we know what they're going to have. So without asking, we're going to make it for them. So that's because you're giving them that sort of feeling of, some people are so alone, right? And that's why they want to come to a restaurant, a cafe, to just have a talk as well along with the food. Because going out to a restaurant, to a cafe, or to even to have ice cream is also an experience compared to just go and eat something. You could have it in your house, in your apartment.
Yeah, that's man, dude. I gave a speech today about how food's the universal language. We all need it. Yeah, it's how we break bread. It's how you foster relationships, and everything you just touched on. I was like, man, I was talking about this morning. Like this guy gets it. Yeah. Farid, what a incredible human being. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for inviting me.
We're grateful to have you here in Bloomington, and hopefully for a very long time. And you'll be seeing me a lot more.
Oh, thank you, Jordan, for inviting me. It was great. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
You're still here. You made it, champ. I'm proud of you. Thanks to Game Day Men's Health, all of our other sponsors, and to G Baby Garrett with Green Hat Media. See you next time. This episode of the No Dishes podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Garrett Portinga of Green Hat Media in beautiful downtown Bloomington, Indiana.
No dishes.
No Dishes Media.
No Dishes Media.